Okay, let's blast off. Brandon Mania in DC. Top Dems starting to openly ask him to step aside. Okay. Trump distances himself from Project 2025. Can we get some Gaza coverage today? No, we're not doing Gaza coverage today. How about that? Okay, yes, but also no. Okay, shut the fuck up. Please, chatters, shut the fuck up. Did you already cover the French election yesterday? I did, but I'm going to do it again. Don't worry. Brandon Mania, DC top them starting to openly ask him to step aside. Trump distances himself. Project 2025. People are being mad weird about Sketch possibly having a gay OnlyFans. We'll talk about that, obviously. French left wins major. Chat, Hasanabi has a YouTube channel. If you missed some of the stuff yesterday, it's true. Major W over far right. I think Joe definitely has Parkinson's. I don't know if he does. Hassan gets angry at chat for asking what's on stream, like a mother getting angry at her annoying kid asking for what's for dinner. Okay, that sounds like kind of abusive, okay? Like, I think it's warranted for me to get mad at people coming in the chat and being like, are you finally gonna cover Gaza today? It's like, dude, calm down. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? Breaking from Lancet, something light to get you started. Dude, come on. Why are you making a joke about that? Like, obviously that's on the docket as well, but like, that's not light, okay? This is what I mean. This is what I mean. Like, the Lancet study shows that like the death toll in Gaza was unimaginably conservative, and that the death toll in the Gaza genocide could be 186,000 or more. Okay? Like, that's the light news that people want to start with. Why no Gaza coverage lately, streamer? I know you're covering a topic I hate, so I'm going to be annoying about what you cover. Exactly. It just like fucking makes me mad. Yeah, we got the Amazon working undercover at the Amazon facility video as well. Don't worry. That's a fire. Alex Press is on it too. Anyway, the Aussie boys will be in attendance. Get in now. Twitch.tv/Hasanabi. South Beast, the Gamir 611. Thank you for the 10 tier 1 gifted subs. Okay. Did the Good Works Infidel video? Yeah, I haven't gotten to that yet, but we'll eventually get to that. Yes, I know that Skahill launched a new outlet with Ryan Grimm. Of course I know that. Here, all right, I'll just post this me being a pastor as my blast off meme. Let's blast off and let's get it going. Costco Boys song of the summer. Okay, you know what? We'll start off with something actually fucking light, okay? We'll start off with something actually light before we get to the French election drama and the news and Macron demanding that his prime minister does not drop out, okay? Even though he is dropping out. Before we do that, let's do some
We bring the boom. That's what we do. We bring the boom. We bring the boom to you. We bring the boom. We bring the boom to everyone. We bring the boom. Your favorite father and son.
Every afternoon on your FYP.
We'll be bringing the boom around 3:15.
We bring the boom so loud the whole earth shakes.
With double chunk chocolate cookies.
And chicken bakes. My
Yes.
choice of bring the boom that everybody deserves.
And we call him Big Justice, cause that's what he serves.
We bring the happiness and laughter when we enter the room. And
We're changing up the world with the boom or do. We bring the boom. That's what we do. We bring the boom. We bring the boom to you. We bring the boom.
Hold on, bro. You can't just like roll up in here without
Sorry,
you can't.
I heard my song.
You can't just like roll up in here and just start talking to the microphone. It's muted, brother.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you.
I thought they looked like you.
I don't want to fucking work him like a slave driver, but like Alexa loves streaming.
That's great.
Okay, he does. Alex not so much, but Alexa loves streaming. He loves like He's always like, oh yeah.
I don't like any of the politics stuff though. I like the Costco guys.
Yeah, dude, I love the Costco guys. This is like the peak.
This
This is America. Okay, max the fuck out.
It is kind of sweet as well because I feel like the kids are old enough to be like, no, dad, that's not cool. Like they want to do this, right? They're like,
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to be bringing
That's
the boom
big
with
justice,
my dad,
bro. He loves serving justice. Like, what do you mean? It's
Wait,
just,
what? This is a already famous person?
That's his name is Big Justice. You don't know the Costco boys?
Well, no, I know the Costco boys. I know the Rizzler. I just didn't know his name is Big Justice.
Yeah, no, dude, you are not tuned in on the fucking lore, dude. God damn it. You're embarrassing
They
me.
introduced the like wife and sister here as well.
Yeah, they have that. They have the wife, they have the sisters, they have the grandmother who's like an Elden Ring boss. Basically, she's like so old. She's like Joe Brandon age, just perfect.
We bring the boom to everyone. We bring the boom. Your favorite father and son.
When you subscribe here to our channel, no, you'll never be alone.
We bring the boom to you each day right here from Boca Raton.
Stick with the Costco guys, and you'll never get beat.
We'll throw some paper towels and get me all me.
We're pushing weight in the gym, and we're crushing the ball.
Big Justice brings the boom and puts it over the wall. When your family comes first, it can never be a doom. Ashley and mother of Big Justice even bring you the boom.
We bring the boom.
They all look like, I know they're a family, but like the wife and the husband, like they kind of
related.
all look related. Like literally everyone looks a little too related, honestly.
We bring the boom. We bring the boom.
Like how is that the wife or the sister? You know what I mean? Like doesn't she literally look like the dad?
Yeah. Where are they from? Are they Italian?
Dude, great question. This is my favorite take. So they are actually technically Cuban. They live in Boca Raton, as they brought it up. That's in Florida. However, they are the most Italian coded Cubans, so I refuse to recognize their Cuban status.
I think it's possible.
I consider them to be Italian.
No, but it's also possible to have like been Italians in Cuba, you know?
I
They
just
need all sorts of colonial
not like
administrators.
this, not like this, dude. To this degree, like
Sicilians.
yeah, they are so fucking Italian coded. It's awesome.
We bring the boom to you. We bring the boom. We bring the boom to everyone. We bring the boom. Our favorite father and son.
It's like cool because like they're Italian in my mind because they're so New Jersey. Like I know they're from Florida. I know they're technically supposed to be Cuban, but they are so unimaginably New Jersey Italian that it is like impossible for me to comprehend that they are not actually from Manalapan. Okay. Like they are so like McMansion living, McMansion life from Manalapan, New Jersey. Like if you know anything about New Jersey, I'm telling you, you know, this is a complete lock. Okay. Like they are, it's just, no, they're Italian. They're from Marlboro. Okay. I just don't see a world where they are from Boca Raton and Cuban.
We bring the boom. That's what we do. We bring the boom. We bring the boom to you. We bring the boom. We bring the boom to everyone. We bring the boom. Your favorite father and son. We bring the boom.
Dude, they really do bring the boom. This is like the only sad part about this is that the Rizzler doesn't show up in this one.
Really?
Yeah, he's
What
like,
happened to him?
dude,
Is he
think
like a nephew? What's his
he's just
lore?
like, I think he's just like a deity. He just appears randomly in the background.
Even the
of-
Rizzler looks super Italian. He looks like his name's Vito or something.
Yeah, they all look Italian. Well, the Rizzler looks like his own thing, I think. He's just like a thing on his own. No Rizzler, no views. Yeah. He is a trickster god. Yeah, he's Loki. This is why I don't recommend your content, for the record. Are you not watching the content? Of course they're all related. What the fuck? Wait, what do you mean? You're mad?
Yeah, but the husband and wife aren't related, surely.
Yeah, but the husband and wife do look related. That's my point. Papa John coded? Yeah, they do.
Does the husband take his hat off?
By the way,
Is he always?
no, he takes
Had
that
it?
off sometimes. But the reason why I love the Big Justice is because he literally looks like me when I was
Yeah,
a
that's
kid.
what I was gonna say.
Like he looks like there's some photos from my childhood. I'm sure.
You
The-
left your Turkish passport on the table while we were house
Oh,
sitting. And
yeah.
we flipped through.
Oh, you flipped
without
through it?
permission. And yeah,
I mean, I don't give a
you're very
shit.
much a a Costco guy.
Yeah, I straight up look like him. Like I looked like Big Justice. What was I gonna say? Oh, I'm sure there's who has that photo of me with the fucking mohawk? Who has that photo of me with the mohawk? Like that is straight up Big Justice territory. What do the Blue Check Times gain by rooting for Biden staying in the race? Do they want to lose to Trump that badly? They do. Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Oh hell yeah, he brought the boom.
I mean, come on,
You got the
dude.
spoon in hand as well.
Yeah, I was eating.
He's so ready.
Like, are we? Like, this is. It's like staring into a mirror of the past.
I think
okay.
I think I was fatter than you.
Oh yeah.
I think I
Here, Discord it to me. Discord it to me
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Discord
Okay.
me that photo
Let me
right now.
find
We
it.
have to show everybody your photo as a fat child that you think you look Lebanese, but you don't fucking look Lebanese at all.
Someone's gonna say I look Lebanese.
Alexa made me die on the fucking guest Patreon episode. By the way, on this week's Fear End, I was like, by the end of it, I was like actually unable to continue guesting with the things he says so
There we go.
seriously. He just like brings shit up that he brings up so. Oh my god, I love this photo so much, dude. You look look ridiculous, dude. We were playing basketball yesterday, and this motherfucker. Okay, Stans. I'm calling him out a little bit. Okay, Stans did not guard him at all, so he had like 8 fucking buckets. He would just stand under the basket, and everyone's guarding their own people. So he would just like sneak under the basket and get a fucking quick pass. And he had like so many layups that way. And
great.
we found out afterwards that Stans told him from the start that he was like really wet.
I came in sweaty.
So
I was
we're-
sweaty from the car.
Yeah, so we're suspecting that because he was really wet, Stans just like didn't really guard him up close.
I understand. I wouldn't touch me either.
He looks Galician in this. He looks like a Serbian.
like
he
I'm
looks like a
Ukrainian.
Serbian war criminal, bro. He's like 8. What are you talking about? Like, what war crimes is he committing? Is he eating too many fucking Milka chocolates or something? Like, that's the most
many
crimes
Milka
that he was
chocolates.
doing. I do personally think it's funny that you thought you look Lebanese in this
still think I
photo.
look
No, you
Lebanese.
look Russian, dude. You look so
No,
fucking Russian. Oh, okay. Everyone's making
Wow,
jokes,
from last
cracking
night.
jokes about the fucking guest episode. Anyway, okay, but
I look
let's.
like a Hezbollah fighter. There, do you hear that?
Yeah, no, you don't. You want to
That's
look.
what I said.
No, you wish you did. You don't. Don't give him that. Don't give him the props.
I'm a Lebanese child.
No, you do
And then
not
I
look
grew up
Lebanese at all. Off
to-
topic, but this is so good. Cutie is a star.
I put my
So-
gum
Oh,
in
yeah.
my water.
when I have
Alex's
guests
face.
over, I work them like fucking workhorses.
Is he usually like this, or is it only when there are people here?
I like that he kept his composure though.
Not
Like he's
really.
so
he
disgusted.
went back to it. He looked
It's
around a
over.
bit to see
I
like if
just- I
anyone else
work 'em
notices
like
what's going on.
Look at his face. He's like, what the fuck? Workhorses.
Is he usually like this, or is it only when there are people here? He smiles. So back to it.
he's-
Okay.
Yeah, he keeps his. That's a professional.
I just assumed it was an American thing. I saw
Yeah.
it and I'm like, oh, this is just what you guys. Oh, that's
Yeah.
what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't come back
Cross-cultural.
and whoop our ass at a boomerang. What? What does that mean? Cutie's tequila worm gum was insane. Yeah, she's nasty with it. She's a nasty girl. Is anybody gonna match her freak? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think anybody should match that freak.
It's terrifying.
Anyway, what is this? Oh, we already looked through this fucking thread of
I
sad.
can't believe she was actually crying. Is that from the election, or is that just a?
I know. I think it's different. It's from a different time. I think it's not from the election.
That's amazing.
Cutie's freak is unmatchable. I agree. Okay, we're done with the boom. We're done with the Costco guys. Yeah, the only person who can match Cutie's freak is the Sex Yoda, and Sex Yoda is retired right now because Will's not around.
No idea what that is.
Don't worry about it. It's just it's just a meme. They're looking in the Discord. Dude was a
Oh,
little
that's-
German doll.
That's.
He's looking at the Discord on the other side. Yeah, they're calling you Augustus Gloop in there, dude. Oh no, that's Sex Yoda.
That's hideous.
Okay. Did we get our daily the Japans mention yet? No. Gunna is performing in Paris. Oh yeah, I saw that.
Fuck less racism.
There's racist.
Fuck less racism. That's awesome. South Beast, the Gamir 611, another 10 banger. Okay, what's happening here? Another 10 spot. Thank you so much. Anyway, Are we doing croissant wash today? Yes, bro. We shall be doing le croissant wash in a moment. Do not worry. Okay. Do not fucking worry. Anyway, here's the blast off. Let's get started with the fucking news, baby. Let's do it. Let's do the dang thing. Okay. We're doing the dang thing. We're doing it. Watch the TLDR video about the French election. Sure. Tell me where you got your glasses from. I got them in Japan. Megan Thee Stallion danced with the French flag in Paris after the Front Populaire wins. Megan Thee Stallion is dope though. She's fucking goated.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's awesome. Biden libs are so mad. We're gonna get to that. Don't worry. Hey media, cover the news. Don't create it.
George.
Oh, George
He's
Takai.
still
He
around.
came in hot, dude. Amber Rose is speaking at RNC next week? No way. Oh, how come she gets to speak at RNC, but I can't? Like, I
Can't
am
even show
also a right-wing content creator. Like, what the fuck is happening? It's messed up. It's messed up. It's messed up. All right, let's get fucking started. Let's get started. Before we get to the Brandon train, obviously we're going to be talking about l'Europe and France. The French elections took place and the parliament is in le deadlock. However, the far right, the nationalists, they had a bad time, very bad. Okay, merde, poo-poo caca. Okay, let's
There's
start.
also political uncertainty in France this morning, where a right-wing political
I'm trying to get Hugo de Crypt to come on and, Hugo de Crypt to come on and explain stuff, but he hasn't responded to my DM.
Are you going to do your French accent when he's here?
I have done it in front of them many times when they visited, and anyway, but we'll see. I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to link up with our international correspondents.
party had been expected to take control of parliament after a second round of voting. Instead, get this, a left-wing coalition won the largest share of seats, but that is still not enough to take full control. This could mean political paralysis for France's President Emmanuel Macron. Elaine Cobb has more.
Leftist supporters gathered in central Paris last night to heave a collective sigh of relief as the exit polls showed the French far-right's dream of taking power had been dashed, proclaiming it a victory for the values of the French Republic.
Someone on Twitter said like they have this rally. They had a video from this rally. I forget who it was, but someone on Twitter, one of my moots, said it's so beautiful that these guys at this rally have direct identical DSA guys in San Francisco. Like this literally looks verbatim 1-to-1 DSA. Okay.
I heard George Soros was cloning people.
It's just
That's the only way he fills up the
straight up,
crowds.
dude. This looks identical to a DSA meetup, like a DSA rally. Okay, I'm not even joking.
On the sidelines, masked protesters clashed with
This, on the other hand, does not. Unfortunately, Americans do not embody the revolutionary spirit that the French do, regardless of what they're fucking rioting for. But let's
police. As the count continues, the combined left group is tipped to take the most seats in Parliament.
Relieved more than anything. Really overwhelmingly relieved.
Like that's a DSA guy. That is 100% a DSA
No, there's
guy.
some differences. I haven't seen the fucking ear stretches in like 20
The
years.
gauges? No, Americans love gauges too. That's a DSA guy through and through. Okay. Like this is just like the entire crowd is comprised of Hasanabi heads in France. I swear to fucking God. Like straight up.
Overwhelmingly relieved.
President Macron's centrist alliance came in second, but will still have fewer seats than before. In a shock result against the predictions, the far-right trailed in third as left and centrist voters turned out in force to block them. But it still made historic progress and is tipped to take 60% more seats than in the last elections.
Yeah, be careful, Hasi. This is what we look like. I know. That's why I'm saying, like, they look identical to, like, you guys here. Straight
is
up.
destined to be in opposition to whatever coalition President Macron can pull together. How likely are we to get the left working together?
This will be this very, very hard to predict. I mean, really, you're looking into dense fog. Some of these less radical MPs will join forces perhaps with the socialists and the Greens and the communists and form a government which could perhaps rest on the support and part of Macron's party in the parliament.
President Macron will have his work cut out for him forming a government, and he has vowed not to work with the far left, who made significant gains last night.
Yeah, shut up, bitch. You have to. Like, what do you mean you're not going to work with them? Like, I don't understand. What are you looking at?
Food.
Oh. What are you doing over there? You looking at fucking Discord
I'm
memes or some
taking
shit?
photos of you.
Yeah.
From very close.
Okay, nice. Yeah, the idea is like, oh, I will not work with the far left. Okay, so you're just gonna deadlock the country. Good move. That'll certainly be a good move for the centrists. I love that.
For CBS Mornings, Elaine Cobb, Paris.
The new Popular Front, a coalition of several parties, won 182 seats in the National Assembly.
To be fair, though, it's like he is not afraid of being unpopular. If there's one thing that Macron actually does not mind, it's being despised universally. Okay, roundly despised. He does not have any issues with that. Democracy Now! Episode on the French elections. Okay, we'll look at that as well.
Making it the largest bloc. It doesn't have an absolute majority, though. None of the blocs do. President Emmanuel Macron's centrist Ensemble Alliance got 163 seats, whilst Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally and its allies got 143 seats. And it's worth noting National Rally will be the largest individual party
So they didn't all drop out.
in the new parliament, so it will be the
The
official
centrists are still there,
opposition.
going strong.
Yeah, no, they didn't fully drop out. They did a parliament members seat swap. So like in areas in districts where like the centrists were doing better, then the leftist candidate would drop so that everyone would vote for the centrist. In districts where the leftist candidate was doing better, the centrist candidate would drop so that everyone would vote for the leftist.
And there were just more districts where the leftists were doing better.
Yeah, and the reality is like obviously even the centrists that won due to the leftists that voted for them.
Yeah.
And vice versa, but for the most part, it's like given the fact that the centrist party is like objectively the centrist coalition is objectively unpopular. It was mostly the left carrying everyone. Macron worked to stop it while the ex-prime minister pushed for the centrists to drop. I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Macron was actively working against the dropouts. I don't know how much truth there is to that. I've seen some coverage of that overall. I have seen some coverage of that. According to the numbers, roughly 40% of the centrists voted for the left when 70% of the left voted for the centrists, by the way. As always, as is the case. That part I did see. As in the Bernier busters, the narrative that was set in the United States of America in the 2016 election was a falsehood back then. And that has been a universal thing that happens all the time.
Wait, that means that 60% of centrists voted for Le Pen?
Or just didn't vote. Macron doesn't have to select the prime minister from the NFP, especially since there's no absolute majority. It is the only way not to deadlock the country, though. So doing otherwise would probably get him guillotined. That's the thing. That is why I'm saying Macron does not give a shit about coming across as the absolute fucking the absolute least popular person on the planet. Like he literally lives for that shit. So who knows? He has denied the will of the people time and time again. Ironically, this election was also a surprise to his own party even. He is absolutely awful. I mean, he is famously very, very, very awful and very unpopular. That's why his centrist coalition lost a shit ton of seats. So we'll see. Yeah, in no universe did Macron's gamble work. He lost 80 MPs. Everyone in his own camp hates him. And the left's new Popular Front, he vilified during the campaign, calling them anti-Republican and anti-Semitic, is now the first political force in France. But of course, the Ukraine flag in the bio, people are still coping. Oh my God, you guys gambled, worked because the principles and the efforts of the left wing who have won a clear mandate to govern. Stop retweeting this to congratulate Ensemble. Okay, I guess it was a misunderstanding from this person. As in like to defeat the far right. But I don't think he was gambling to defeat the far right. I think he was gambling to defeat the far right with his own constituency. He thought that he could do better in the first round. He thought that he wouldn't be third place in the first round. And then when he came third place in the first round, obviously there were enough people loyal to unseating the right in his fucking own party that they dropped out and stepped out of the goddamn way. When are you going to invite French streamer Cassandre, an activist at La France Insoumise, to explain all the betrayals made to La France Insoumise by the Green Party, the Communist Party, and the Socialist Party? Explains the LFI organizations that made this victory possible. Probably, I don't know, maybe in the future, who knows. Thank you, The Majority Report, for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Uncle Sam and Majority, hope you guys had a good one. We are burning through this. We're going to continue. Maybe he took the gamble because the EU elections have horribly low turnout rates. No, it's fucking unimaginably stupid. Is it insoumise or insoumise? La France insoumise. Stop trying to read Macron's mind. His thoughts are too complex for you peasants to understand. I am a part of the media, so technically he is right. His thoughts are far too complex for me to understand. Listen, we are not going to shit on the New Popular Front today. Okay? We are not going to shit on the New Popular Front today. Why are we not going to shit on the New Popular Front today? We're not going to shit on the coalition today because they did actually fuck over La France Insoumise originally, and I covered that broadly last election cycle. And this time around, they very quickly got together and they got their ducks in a row. They got their shit together and they did something that was unimaginable. They showed up in solidarity. There was left unity for once. So I think that you know this is a one-off. Who knows what the governing coalition is going to look like? Who knows what the New Popular Front like infighting is going to look like? Having said that, however, they did it. They literally did it. And the moment that they fucking actually did it was a good moment. It was a moment of celebration. They did unity, and guess what? When that unity came through, the left won. It's the strongest, like the New Popular Front is the strongest political force in France as of today, as of yesterday. That's huge. That is undeniable. Okay? I'm sorry. That is in a sea of political pessimism. You know me. I am probably the least optimistic person out of most political commentators. It is not because I lack like the revolutionary optimism within me or anything like that. It's because as a leftist who's been doing this for a fucking decade plus, I am used to taking L's. I'm used to seeing the left fight one another, and I'm used to seeing opportunists in general regularly fuck over a broader leftist momentum. I see it in this community as a microcosm of that very same problem that persists. So this is one of the few instances. This is one of the few instances where like a good thing happened. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna stand on that, and I'm going to, you know, cover it with the possible optimism that it deserves. And I am more optimistic about the French situation than I was about Labor. And Labor is even low-key kind of under the direction of Keir Starmer, showing a different face than the way Keir Starmer ran a campaign so far. And, you know, I'm always going to be honest with you. If that's like, if I was wrong, I will recognize it. I will admit it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Keir Starmer and Labour in the UK. But, you know, there's some promisings happening in the UK as well, which is shocking to say. Shocking to admit. All right, let's continue.
After the first round of voting, the far right's run to power was undone by tactical deal-making between centrist and leftist opponents. More than 200 candidates withdrew from the second round to avoid splitting the anti-National Rally vote. Now, the National Rally's Marine Le Pen says the party's victory has only been delayed.
The quagmire that I warned about has, of course, come true. France will be totally blocked with three groups that have more or less the same influence.
Yeah, that's not what you were afraid of. You were not afraid of like, oh, a political quagmire. You were afraid of like Muslims coming in and forcing you to put the hijab on or something, or whatever the fuck you were running on. Okay. Yeah, no, she's trying to still dial it in a more like centrist. She's trying to reposition as like a centrist here, like a center right candidate, and not like the far right freak that she is. Okay. That's the only reason why she's talking about like, oh, a political gridlock. It sucks.
I love the cope of like warning that it was going to happen. Like you're trying to be the winner, and you're like, just as I thought, a quagmire.
Yeah. She's not really afraid of the things she's selling to her constituents. I think she is a dyed-in-the-wool, straight-up Nazi. I do. I think she is just like recentered. I think she has basically recentered her or like dialed back her overt anti-Semitism and overt far-right sentiment. Like her dad was a fucking literal Nazi. I'm sorry, guys. Like, what are we doing here? Like, she's literally carrying the same torch. The party is a nationalist party. They call themselves the Nationalist Party. When you do that, and your dad is a fucking straight-up Nazi, and you defend your dad regularly, and you yourself have said a bunch of Nazi shit early on in your career, I'm not thinking that you're probably fucking rehabilitated, okay?
Also, if she was just an opportunist using it, she definitely would have just like pretended she liked soccer. You know, I feel like she's honest.
That's a good
she's
take.
An honest
Yeah,
person.
she's honest. Like, if she had better political instincts, she wouldn't have fucking like shit on Mbappe and instead been like, oh, he brings great glory to France.
Yeah.
But she couldn't. She couldn't even white knuckle through like giving props to a black man. Okay.
She's more racist than the most woke Polish man.
Yeah, exactly.
He could have at least said,
"Believe me, there are good black people. Believe me."
She could have said Mbappe was a good one.
Yeah.
She can't do that.
She couldn't even do that. Yeah. Yeah, they should make that Polish man the leader of the Nationalist Party.
National Assembly. Well, we're going towards that. It's sad. We're losing one more year of unregulated immigration, one more year of losing purchasing power, one more year of a blowing up of insecurity in our country.
So the only aspect of this that there is a little bit of truth here is the fact that if Macron deliberately sabotages the mandate that the New Popular Front has come out with, because Mélenchon came out and said, we have our mandate, we have our policies, you can look at our manifesto, we are going to do all of that. We are going to bring the prices down, we're going to do price checks, we are going to increase the minimum wage in this country, we are going to make life infinitely more affordable for the average French working class person. We're going to tax the rich. Now those are very bold and broad, and dare I say, unfortunately, given the time frame and given the way that French politics works, those are radical claims. Even though they're not radical at all. They are technically, quote unquote, radical claims in a world where it is impossible to do good things and only possible to do bad. So if Macron personally, and he probably will try to sabotage this coalition, if they refuse to co-sign, if they refuse to coalesce, if they refuse to collaborate with the New Popular Front, I am afraid that will only take the centrist stink that currently exists in France and rub it all over the New Popular Front, and will only give a stronger position to the far right.
You've cracked Macron's complex thinking.
Yeah, it does seem like he's gonna fucking, yeah. Now, I don't know the intricacies of French parliament and parliamentary politics. I don't know the intricacies of like how much power technically the president versus the prime minister, and how like the parliament works, how much broad power the president has over the parliament, and if there is like a way to, I don't know, call for a referendum and like take out Macron if he does not respond to the wishes of the public, as we saw in this election. So maybe there's an opportunity there for the New Popular Front to gain more momentum, gain more power. We'll see what happens, but I will, of course, especially celebrate that I was wrong, because this is something that I've been warning about for quite some time. Okay, this is something that I have seen coming up in every European country, including France. I've talked about Le Pen rising to a position of prominence over the course of the past couple of years, almost a decade now, where reality is her singular party, right, got 10 million individual votes. Now, of course, the totality of the votes when tabulated between the New Popular Front and also the centrist coalition is 12 million in comparison to the 10 million that they got. But that is a singular party that got 10 million fucking votes. That's a far right party that got 10 million fucking votes. That is genuinely devastating for French politics and the future of French politics, unless the liberals now recognize that they have to change course in an effort to, stave off further radicalization, further economic instability. This is legitimately scary, just like reform is legitimately scary in the UK. So the very same criticisms that I have, or the very same concerns that I have for British politics, exist in French politics as well. If the Labour Party is operating with their center-right manifesto that Keir Starmer put forward, if they do that, If they get this, now they have this mandate, now they have this, momentum. If they don't take advantage of that momentum and start immediately improving the material conditions of working class British people to try and combat this radicalization actively, if they do not do this, then Reform will take advantage of the opportunity in the UK and gain more prominence, especially when I suspect the Conservatives are going to start normalizing, maybe repositioning some of their worst political instincts, especially when it comes to immigration. We already saw that with Rishi Sunak and his Rwanda plan. Keir Starmer has put an end to that immediately, which is good. But it doesn't stop there. You also have to. It's not just blocking and pushing. You also have to push politics in the positive direction, in a leftist direction, in a progressive direction. If you don't do that, and if you don't show people your work, you will only continue the volatility, and more people will join Reform in the UK, and more people will join the Nationalist Party in France. Very, very scary stuff overall. That's still a concern that I have, even though this was another thing. This was definitely a thing that I thought was going to happen this time around, and it didn't, so that's great.
But if we need to go through that, then we'll go through that.
Let's head over to the Prime Minister's office. Gabriel Attal is submitting his resignation today. He will, though, continue his duties as long as needed, and Jim Bitterman is outside his office there.
So Gabriel Attal submitted his resignation, and Macron refused. He said, no, you're going to keep doing it. You're going to keep doing the damn thing. Why? Because he has incredibly complex thoughts. Well, with the results of this election, it's unreasonable to expect that they'll adopt the entire NLF platform. This is parliamentary politics, and if a government gets sworn in by Macron, it'll need to be based on some compromise with ministers from both parties. The coalitionary negotiations that'll take place will really be the tough part, and we'll see how much ground he's willing to give. Exactly, but we'll see. That's why I'm saying, it's entirely dependent on, it's sad to say, but it's entirely dependent on the Jupiterian, the incredible mind of Macron and what his ambitions are. Is he going to cast aside any kind of progress in the right direction, or is he going to, is he going to allow at least certain aspects of the New Popular Front's manifesto to come into fruition? Okay, yeah, 60 chess from the legendary imperial mind of Macron. All of their public statements right now, I won't work for the far left, etc., are just about trying to position themselves for more power. They will compromise in the end. The parties have already shown that they can, given that they drop candidates. Yeah, I think so too, but who knows? It comes down to, who do you hate more? Will you align with the fascists, as liberals historically have, or will you actually give ground to socialists, which they historically do not? Okay? The only unique aspect of this is that Macron did not openly collaborate with the far right and open up the floodgates for this nationalist momentum in France. And instead, whether he wanted it or not doesn't really matter. His party said, no, we are going to collaborate with the socialists and with the New Popular Front in general, no matter how scared we are of their scary leftist agenda. In France, it's tradition for the prime minister to resign after a legislative election, but since the negotiations are happening and we can't have no prime minister, it's normal that Macron refuse until a new prime minister is appointed. Let the guest talk. Bro, what do you want? He can fucking talk if he wants to. It's not like I'm shutting him up.
I know nothing about France.
Yeah, what do you want him to do? Just chirp?
He may continue for a
Costco guys.
Yeah. The process of finding a prime minister is very complicated now.
Absolutely, Max. But in fact, we're not at the Prime Minister's office. We're inside the National Assembly courtyard. I just wanted to show you how things are going to transpire in about 4 hours from now when these new deputies, 577 deputies who were officially elected yesterday, actually some of them were already elected from the previous week on the first round. Anyway, they're going to come through those blue-gray doors back there. They've got a sign out front that says this way for the deputies. And then they're going to come through here. They've got, they're starting to prepare things to sort of get the security check and to get the ID check that goes with getting access to the National Assembly. They've got a little coat rack room back here that they can put their coats in, or they can put their luggage, because some of these people will be coming in from all over the country and some places outside the main country of France and in the territories, the overseas territories. And so there's going to be people trickling in probably for the next day or two. Eventually, all 577, though, will take up offices in there. They'll get their housing vouchers if they need them. Basically, the National Assembly has a lot of studio apartments that they let the members use if they need them. Some of them from Paris, of course, they don't need them. In any case, that'll be all taken care of. Logistics will be taken care of in the next day or two. Tomorrow, they'll get a calendar of events. And of course, as you mentioned, Max, one of the things that we're all going to be watching for is this left-wing group, this alliance, a very rough alliance, that took the most seats. 182 of the 577 seats belong to the new Popular Front, as it's called, but it's made up of 5 individual parties. And one of the most extreme parties is headed by a guy named Jean-Luc Mélenchon. He wasted no time yesterday claiming the prime ministership. Here's what he had to say.
Now the will of the people must be strictly respected. From now on, no tricks, backroom deals, nor combinations would be acceptable. The lesson to be taken from the vote is definitive. The defeat of the president and his coalition has been confirmed with clarity. The president has the power. The president has the duty to call on the new Popular Front to govern.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the president's problem is going to be if he wants the extreme left in power. I don't.
This guy's awesome.
Holding the newspaper.
Yeah.
I think he does. The award for the headline of the day has to go to Le Parisien because they said, and now what? What do we do? What do we do now with a very perplexed-looking Mr. Macron on the cover?
By the way, the French Justice Department said Mélenchon is only a leftist and non-extreme left. Every Republican moron is using the term. Yes, they're fucking, it's bullshit. I know that already. I know that from my own personal experiences. Depending on how far right you are, depending on how fucking far right you are on the spectrum, you literally, Americans think Nancy Pelosi is a socialist. Americans think motherfucking Jeff Bezos is a socialist, okay? Like, it's entirely dependent on who the fuck you're talking to, who's, like, how stupid they are and how right-wing they are that they think, like, oh, this guy's crazy. Like, they also call him an anti-Semite. And you know what that means, obviously. You know, oh, God forbid you have any opinions on the humanity of Palestinians, then, oh, wow, well, there it is. Like a classic case of anti-Semitism. But, you know, that's besides the point. Let's continue.
That's exactly what's confronting France right now. Who is going to be the prime minister, and which one of these many party groups is going to really represent the government of France? Max?
Thank you. A question we're going to put to Danielle Obono.
The left has not won. We have not won anything. The RN had no seats in 2002. Now has 130. They are everywhere in mainstream media. They're supported by some of Macron's ministers like Darmanin. We still have a far-right political system. I mean, it's still. Macron has collaborated with the RN and far-right in general for his 2 mandates. Darmanin was a royalist and far-right militant. There's also, the LFI is led by Mélenchon, not NFP. This is frustrating as fuck right now. And then you also talked about some far-right billionaire who owns like a lot of the media there, I think, right? I'm French. Hello, check how many murders and racist aggressions are going on right now by Iran supporters. They're literal terrorists. I saw that as well. The media briefly glanced on that coverage and basically said, oh, there were some riots in France. But you know, it seems like there are a lot of people who are, wait, you support the far left communists in France? I support the far left communists everywhere, okay? Everywhere, not just in France, across the board. The further left you go, the better for me, okay? 100%. Just like I support the top of the hour ad break. Because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Darmanin is the #1 financier of the GUD, a far-right terror group. Yeah, I think that, like I said, it is genuinely scary. It is genuinely scary. It is genuinely scary how much momentum the far right has. Okay, it's true. This is definitely true. Anyway, what's also true is that you will be seeing a 3-minute ad break right now unless you subscribe. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. Okay, let's continue. Twitch Prime is free, folks. Yardley Fudge Rounds. Thank you for the 5. Get the subs. The billionaire question is Vincent Bolloré. If you find a video about him, it is crazy. Okay. We'll do the TLDR news French election analysis after this.
She is a member of parliament with France's unbowed party led by Mélenchon. You were with him last night. He was pretty quick off the blocks. Within minutes of the projection coming out, he was out claiming victory. What was that like?
That was a pretty intense feeling.
Yeah.
I think everybody was both relieved and very overwhelmed by everybody being so happy, and also we felt that we were at a turning point in our country's history, and we managed to beat the odds and win and defeat the far right, which what everybody predicted they would win. And the people rose up and said, not today, they're not going to win this time, nor ever. So that was a very powerful moment.
That was very successful, the way the parties on the left and in the middle ground came together to squeeze out the far right. But you also had a very strong turnout. So are you finding that people were really quite shocked by that first round election with the National Front, the far right actually coming out on top?
Yes, and I think for millions of people in this country, it was about their very lives that was threatened. And we had groups of far-right groups roaming the streets, threatening LGBT people, threatening migrant people. A lot of people were abused verbally and called names, and it was very a matter of life and death for a lot of people, and parents telling their kids that they should leave their country because it would be impossible to keep living in this country if the far right would win. So it was very, it was not something theoretical for us and many of us. So and I think that the fact that there was such a high turnout that people realized what was at stake and rose to this historical moment.
There were people in the centre ground that also didn't like your language either. You know, they're as worried about the far left as they are about the far right. What are you saying?
Classic, dude. Leave it up. Leave it to the American media to fucking hit the notes that matter. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people are worried about your language too. What is the far left language, by the way? Look, I know that there are some sus statements that Mélenchon has made about that are definitely that could be considered as anti-Semitic for sure. Okay, he's French. I don't know what else to tell you. I made a joke about this literally yesterday, where I was like, his anti-Semitism is not seen as a burden, but a literal fucking benefit in terms of the election, because we're in France. We're talking about French. We're talking about, the literal nationalist party being straight up Nazi defenders. Okay. Like it's unimaginable. Things that are like considered wild, or things that are considered like outside of the boundaries of like normal permissible politics in America, like having an American Nazi party like run for a Republican candidacy. It's like a one-off. It happens. It has happened time and time again, but like nowhere near the same fucking severity as what you are seeing with a nationalist party winning 10 million fucking votes. Okay? Like it's crazy. It's genuinely crazy. Now, having said that, however, extremist sentiment that he is asking about is, as far as I understand, okay, no, he says some like sus shit about Jewish people. Mélenchon has in the past, like way back in the day, but like nowhere near to the same severity as like the far right. But that's besides the point. That's not when they're talking about like extremist sentiments. They're talking about fucking raising minimum wage. Like it's not like these guys' opinions are a secret. Okay, their opinions are not hidden. Here, let's look at what the scary things he said. Okay, don't know the New York Times said people find his program dangerous. The far left's proposed platform includes raising France's monthly minimum wage, lowering the legal retirement age from 64 to 60, building 1 million new affordable housing units in 5 years, and freezing the price of basic necessities, including food, energy, and gas. The state would also pay households all costs associated with their children's education, including meals at cafeterias, transportation, and extracurricular activities. They also said that they would do this, they would fund this by taxing the wealthy. Now, on top of that, the other extreme anti-Semitism that you hear from Mélenchon and others in the New Popular Front is literally a recognition of Palestinian statehood. So when these guys are fucking talking about how anti-Semitic these guys are, or how extremist these guys are, that's what they're talking about. So none of their ideas are shocking, scary, or even fucking radical. Okay? That's it. And yet, the media apparatus across the board is going to turn around and present this as though it is genuinely terrifying because they're liberal pieces of shit. Their job is to uphold the capitalist hierarchy. Their job is not to look at this and go, well, for the current material conditions, I would say that this party platform is rather normal, if not necessary. Okay? Here, this is Sky News' analysis on it.
Is that he didn't come first. The French hard left came first. His Prime Minister, Gabriel Attal, has resigned. And this parliament, if the exit polls are borne out, obviously the real results have to come in and there could still be a polling shock. This parliament doesn't have an obvious government in it. The hard left, quite understandably, is saying that actually, if they are going to get the prime ministership and if they're going to form a government, they want to be able to put in place their economic agenda. And, this is Britain. We have no idea what a left-wing French economic agenda looks like. It's like price controls, slashing the retirement age, completely opposed to what Macron has been trying to do over the past few years. But his problem is that he didn't come first.
Yeah, the hard left and their scary ideas. It seems that as of literally like 8 minutes ago, Jean-Luc Mélenchon has asked for a presidential election. We saved the republic. Without the government of the NFP, the RN would be in the government. The president of the republic cannot dissolve the assembly for 1 year. Only one other option exists: let him go and provoke a new presidential election. Yeah, slashing the retirement age is like lowering it by 4 years, I think. Well, they increased it to 65, right? What was Macron increasing it to? I think it was what? It was 65, and then Macron increased it regardless of the endless riots. So they wanted to lower it back. It went 64, from 62 to 64. So they wanted to lower it from 64 to 60, right? It was 62. Macron put it to 64. NFP wants to lower it to 60. Okay. So slashing it dramatically. So more debt? Yes, dude. More debt. Shut the fuck up. I hate this fucking argument, dude. Like, you are not the French bank, okay? You are not the Central Bank of France. You are not Macron. You are not in a position of power, okay? What the fuck are you arguing about? You're like literally right now, you are personally saying, I want to be able to work until I'm 64. Fuck it, until I'm 70. Why not increase it to 70 then? Like, you are a peasant, dude. This debt conversation is so beyond your realm of comprehension. You read one fucking micro or macroeconomic textbook and you think you are a fucking analyst. And it causes you to unironically argue against your self-interest. You are a worker, okay? You are working class. You will most likely be, for the rest of your life, working class. This is a good thing for you, okay? It doesn't make any sense. It's literally like, let's say there's politician A and politician B, okay? Politician B is saying, we need to take more money from the poor. Politician A is saying, no, actually, we need to give more money to the poor, as a matter of fact, and take more money from the rich. You are poor, and you're literally going, no, I think politician B is actually eating right now. He's more reasonable. I don't deserve more money. Give the more money to the wealthy. They know how to be productive with it. It's so stupid. It makes no sense. And I know that's reductive, but ultimately that is what you are doing. It's not feasible. They're just fairy tales. Yeah, dude, I know. Because neoliberal austerity economics is not a fucking fairy tale. It's reality, right? It's working so goddamn well so far globally. No, you have been convinced that your cuckoldry, okay, to the current existing system is actually somehow making you a profound thinker. Like, you are thinking in your mind that you are being intellectual in this situation. You're not. To me, a dumb guy that at least goes, no, I want more food on my fucking table. I want more money. What the fuck are we talking about? Is infinitely smarter than you. Okay? Even an animal in the wild has this kind of natural instinct of self-preservation. Whereas humans, for some weird fucking reason, do the exact opposite and think it is like actually brilliant. You're not. You've been duped into thinking that advocating against your best interest is unimaginably intellectual. It's not. Sometimes it is that simple, okay? The real scary part of this conversation, okay, is that then in defense, the second conversation takes place. When I bring this up and I say, you are being a peasant, you're not in this club, you are advocating against your best interest. To make up for the budget shortfall, there's always an opportunity. You tax the wealthy. So then you say, well, the wealthy are always going to avoid taxes. They're going to take their assets away from France. That's insane. You're not a fucking multimillionaire. You're not a corporation. You don't own Carrefour. You're not Mr. Carrefour, okay? You're Mr. Poor. You're not Mr. Carrefour. So why the fuck are you talking about how scary it is that the wealthy could take their assets away from France and shelter them elsewhere? If that's the case, then you take action against them. What kind of fucked up system are we living under? And this happens in America too. That's why I'm saying, like, you're fucking ridiculous. This happens in America all the time. Oh, well, what if the wealthy shelter their asses? What if they take the asses away? It's like, bro, what are you talking about? Then fucking jail them. What do you mean? We have a system of rules. Make the fucking rules and then legislate and regulate. What are we talking about? Like, the thing that you advocate for, the fear that you have that guides you into this advocacy, unironically means that you are docile. You are servile under a system where the wealthy have a gun and are holding the fucking entire economy hostage. That's ridiculous. Aren't you French? Didn't you guys invent the guillotine? What the fuck are we talking about? These motherfuckers love raising up a stink when, you know, there's like additional taxes or anything that happens in the country, okay? They flip tables at a moment's notice, but when it comes down to like what, punishing the fucking wealthy if they're tax avoiding, then it's like, oh, it's unthinkable. It's unthinkable. It's not unthinkable. You should start thinking it, okay? Oh. I don't understand why we are so cognitively impaired by our lack of imagination of a better way possible. People are so sedated and so limited in their imagination. Oh, the wealthy will take their asses away. No, they won't. If the government has your best interest in mind, they're the motherfucking government, okay? They'll take it. Just take the fucking assets. Who gives a shit? What are we talking about? I thought these motherfuckers were supposed to be French. I thought this is what you do. I thought this is what you did. This is what you're famous for. It's so unimaginably fearful and cynical to always assume that we cannot make wealthy people pay their fucking fair share. We are so unimaginably cucked to this like reality. And I understand where it comes from because constantly there is a reinforcement of this scary reality, this scary alternative where the demigod mega wealthy just basically have the economy held hostage. They'll just take their money away. They'll take their money elsewhere. It's like, no, they can't. You're the government. Why is there a system of like a military force, a police force, a fucking tax structure if you can't actually make it work for yourself? It's as simple as literally writing new rules, okay? Because as a poor person, if you don't fucking pay your taxes, you go to jail, okay? So why is it that when a rich person does it, it's like, well, you know, they wrote the rules that way? It makes no sense. Write new rules. I've said this for America a million times over, okay? The United States of America is the largest economic consumer engine on the fucking planet, okay? There's so much wealth here. There's so much money here. Everyone wants to enter this market. That includes American corporations. If our government wasn't so goddamn servile to the interests of corporations, they could literally say, oh, you're taking your assets away because we increased the tax burden for you? That sucks, man. I guess you can't enter the American marketplace any longer then. Solved. Problem solved. What are they going to do? Sell to India? Are they going to sell their fucking incredibly expensive products to the Indian market? Like, is that what they're going to do? They're going to make up for that shortfall? No shot. Like, it's just like the average wealth that the American household has is unimaginable in comparison to the rest of the fucking planet. Okay? We constantly eat. We constantly fucking consume. China does that shit. Why can't America? This really scares me because the rise of leftist communist movements also leads to fascism coming into law and order. We already see so much fascism. Maybe you already said this, but sorry I got here. What's funny is what you're describing isn't even a communist position. I know. That's the craziest part. Like, it's not even... It's not even what I'm saying is not even fucking radical. What I'm saying is not like, oh, workers need to seize the means of production. We're not even talking about that. You know? It's just normal policy that you could write overnight and put into place. Anyway, irony is, even from a pro-capitalist perspective, having more meaningful freedoms for the average working class person would yield more productive outcomes across the board. But we are so nearsighted and so hyper-focused on our collective short-term gains for a select few that people can't even imagine a world where the government does stuff like that, okay? Like, maximizing efficiency. You can make a pro-capitalist argument to what I just described. But year over year, capitalism is this parasitic monster that basically focuses on shorter and shorter and shorter terms of profit seeking, making everyone's lives worse and worse. I don't understand it. The government is a profoundly powerful entity. And I think a lot of people forget that reality. Anyway, details reported in the piece for those who can't read. Macron's team mostly shrugged off results on Sunday. They started celebrating a birthday as the return still coming in. He didn't bother watching. Prime Minister Attal gave forceful speech calling the bloc far right. Attal began calling Macron his candidate who came in third, but made runoff, asking him to drop out to consolidate versus far right. Attal surprised to realize Macron was calling some in parallel, asking them not to drop out. This would risk RN wins. Macron Interior Minister Darmanin, right of party, reportedly said organizing election on 7/7 is good because blédards, words for immigrants from North Africa, won't be around and won't vote left. Note, Darmanin and RN nearly tied in round one. Left dropped out, helping him to block RN. Another note on the prior tweet, the Interior Minister is also responsible for organizing elections. So Attal and Macron have had glacial relations since Macron's decision to call elections. We've known Attal didn't know about it till just before the public announcement. What this suggests to me is that if Borne or Philippe had still been Macron's prime minister instead of Attal this week, I think there'd be a lot more three-way runoffs this Sunday, and the far right would have been a lot likelier to get the majority. He didn't know at all. Good one. Are you wearing a pastor shirt? I thought you were Muslim. It's not a pastor shirt. Fowlers, thank you for the 5 community gifted subs. The word he uses is extremely racist. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on in France. We'll talk about the far right tiers in a second.
To them today.
But first of all, we are the left as a whole, and
your party's far left.
No, it's on the left, and our highest administrative courts said that we were the left, and the National Rally was the far right, which I think closed the debate. But most of all, it's not about the language or how bright is our smile or anything. It's about our platform.
As a blédard, I'll give you the blédard pass. Technically, wouldn't I be considered a blédard as well? In France, like, they're literally talking about like Algerians and Tunisians and shit. No, also literally North African white passing Muslim dudes. You're Turkish, like, in the eyes of people who would use terms like that. I'm saying anyway, whatever, that's besides the point.
And I think we convinced people that our platform, what was needed in order to beat the fascists, but also to change people's lives. And that's what's the most important for us. We got elected on a mandate to make more social justice, to implement green policies in order to face climate change, and to change our system to make it more democratic. And I think that's the most important, rather than like language or the way we behave, supposedly behave. I think that's what people are looking for, and they will be very serious about what we're going to do next. That's what
your platform, your party's platform, has been very clear. The issue is that the platform of the left alliance that has come out of this isn't clear, and there's going to be a big struggle to decide on who is going to be the next prime minister. Mélenchon's obviously put himself forward, but how are you going to, none of the analysts I've spoken to say it's just not clear how you're going to agree with the moderates on who should replace Attal.
But you know, most of the analysts over the past 3 weeks didn't know
Didn't see
that
this coming.
they didn't see. They
Yeah,
didn't
fair enough.
They didn't want this coming,
Yeah.
really, because we had the entire establishment media saying that we will lose and the far right will win. So I'd say to you, don't listen
Well,
to
to be
those.
fair, they did base a
but-
lot of that on the first round election, which
Yeah.
was pretty clear.
Yes, but I think they underestimate the resistance that in our people's, political history and identity
Yes.
to the far right. And also, I would say that our platform as the New Popular Front is basically most of our program from La France Insoumise, but also everybody agrees that that's what people are waiting for, and I think nobody actually read. I mean, from in the media, the people talking about it, they weren't talking about what we actually put forward. We had over 300 high-level economists, among which. The Nobel Prize in Economy, Esther Duflo, we had Gabriel Zuckman, we had Thomas Piketty, who actually supported our program, said that was what needed in order to meet people's needs, and also that was good for the economy. Just on that issue, we were proved to be way better than what Macron did over the past 7 years.
Can I ask you, because you have spent a long time trying to
Here, let's do the TLDR one real quick. Let's look up French elections YouTube. France's insane
On Sunday,
election
France went to the poll.
results explain. No, this is from 6 days ago. This is not the one. There's a new one, right? Yeah,
On
here.
Sunday, France went to the polls for the second and final round of the legislative election. In the end, despite an unprecedented victory in the first round, not only did Marine Le Pen's National Rally fail to win an outright majority in the National Assembly.
Wait, is my stream actually so quiet and it's hard to hear on mobile? What the fuck? Or is that just is that a one guy? Am I getting one guide? Dude, oh my God, I'm getting super one guide. Everyone said no.
Thanks largely to a record number of tactical alliances between centrist and left-wing candidates. But the new left-wing Popular Front coalition actually came out on top. So in this video, we're going to explain what happened on Sunday, the so-called Republican front that emerged over the past week, and what happens next. Before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell to stay in the loop and be notified when we release new videos. So let's start with a quick recap. We did a full video on the first round results last week, so go and watch that if you want to know more. But the TLDR is that the French National Assembly elections, which just happened, were held in 2 rounds. In each constituency, if no candidate won a majority of the votes in the first round, then the top 2, as well as anyone else who received votes equivalent to at least 12.5% of registered voters, go through to the second round, where whoever gets the most votes wins. Now, usually only 2 candidates go through to the second round, and 3 candidate runoffs, known in France as a triangulaire, are pretty rare. In 2017, for instance, there was only 1 triangulaire, and in 2022, there were only 8. However, this time around, that's not how things panned out, because turnout came in at a sky-high 67%, up nearly 20 points from 2022, and the highest since 1986. And the vote was also relatively evenly split between the 3 main parties in the first round, meaning that there were a ridiculous 306 three-way runoffs, and even 5 four-way runoffs. The vast majority of these triangulaires were between the right-wing National Rally, the left-wing NFP, and Macron's centrist coalition. But about 30 were between the National Rally, the MFP, and the centre-right Republicans, who outperformed the polls and won about 10% of the popular vote in the first round. This was all utterly unprecedented. The previous record for triangulaires was 105 in 1997, and the last time there was a 4-way runoff was way back in 1973. And that meant that what happened in the second round would depend more than ever on whether or not the various parties, and especially NFP and Macron's ensemble, could strike a deal to squeeze out the National Rally. And this is what's previously happened at previous French elections. At both the legislative and presidential level, centrist, left-leaning, and even centre-right parties like the Republicans have stepped aside for one another to keep out the National Rally and its predecessor Jean-Marie Le Pen's National Front. This cordon sanitaire is known in France as the Republican Front, and it's proven remarkably successful in the past. In the 2002 presidential election, for instance, after losing to Jean-Marie Le Pen in the first round, the socialists threw their support behind their nominal rival, Republican candidate Jacques Chirac, who then beat Le Pen with a ridiculous 82% of the popular vote. However, its efficacy has waned over time, and especially after Marine Le Pen succeeded her father in 2011 and began detoxifying the brand. In 2017 and 2022, for
instance, literally, it took her more than a decade to detoxify the brand, and she didn't even fucking detoxify the brand until like 2017. Like, her detoxification was like marginally less overtly Nazi, okay? Marginally less overtly Nazi. Like, her father was like a straight up Nazi, and she was also kind of a straight up Nazi, and only until like the last decade she start retriangulating and just being like, yeah, the Nazi stuff, it's not so great. Yeah, no, the Holocaust did happen, I think. Maybe. Like, that's what we're talking about. And when you might think I'm joking, but I'm being 100% verbatim about the Holocaust shit, okay? Like, it's not even, it's ridiculous. Yeah, the Front National was co-founded by literal Waffen-SS. Like, they still had people in the ranks that would just like chirp every now and then, but they were just like trying to, yeah, when I say Nazi, I mean like 1930s style Nazi governance. Detoxifying the brand, yet they kept the same logo and took the name of a Nazi-affiliated parties of the 40s. Yep.
For instance, both the socialists and Republicans backed Macron over Marine Le Pen. But despite the backing of both establishment parties, Macron never enjoyed the
Actual quotes from our candidate's election via Reddit. I am not racist. My dentist is a Jew and my eye doctor is Muslim. I am not racist. A black priest blessed my motorbike and I didn't run him over. I am against abortions. Reminder for the non-French people, abortion has been set in stone in Constitution recently. We didn't kill enough. Talking about Jews, thinking his mic was off, I guess. Yeah. No, like, no. When I say, this is not like a dilution of the term Nazi when you say like, oh, every Republican is a fascist, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm talking straight, and not Republican in the French term. I mean like Republican in America. It can get a little confusing because the Republicans are like the center right here in this situation, or the right-wing party. And then you have like the literal Nazi party. Yeah, Marine Le Pen sparks outrage over Holocaust comments in 2017 when she was retriangulating. Marine Le Pen's attempts to convince voters that she has modernized the views of her far-right Front National party have come into question after she questioned the French state's role in the Holocaust. Le Pen suggested France was not responsible for the wartime roundup of Jews who were sent to Nazi death camps. With just 13 days until the first round of voting in France's presidential election, her remarks have been met with widespread condemnation. Now, of course, she said that because technically, when she was saying that, she wasn't just defending like the broader French involvement, Vichy France, in its involvement in the Holocaust. She actually was defending her immediate relatives. When I say she was defending her immediate relatives and their involvement in the Holocaust, like, I mean literally her immediate relatives. I cannot stress this enough. When we talk about European politics, like, remember, World War II happened and people survived it on the bad side too. And some of those people who survived it on the bad side then came to positions of prominence, including Le Pen's family. Like, this isn't like American Nazis LARPing, okay? American Nazis LARPing on Stormfront and being like, yeah, we love Nazi Germany. We're going to do the Fourth Reich. I'm talking literally people who were directly involved with Nazi governance in their nations. When I talk about Italian fascists, for example, okay? When I talk about Italian fascists, we are talking sometimes direct descendants of Mussolini, like Mussolini's granddaughter, right? Or people who then joined fascist parties originally, like Meloni, who advocated for Mussolini in her youth, okay? Like, this isn't someone who is just simply a sympathizer, which is bad enough on its own. These are people with like direct ties to existing historic fascist movements that never really went away. Okay? You're wrong. There were candidates during that election who got caught wearing a Nazi cap. Another one photographed when 18 with skinheads wearing a shirt with a Celtic cross. I mean, I don't know why you're saying I'm wrong. That's you're just giving me more information about how fucking openly Nazi they are. Times of Israel, Le Pen, founder of the National Front Party and currently a legislator, said in a video posted on the party website that next time we will put him in an oven. When asked about French singer Patrick Bruel's criticism of the party, Bruel is Jewish. Yeah. Anyway, Le Pen's knife from Hitler's youth. He forgot Algeria where he tortured people. 50 years of the Algerian War. On the morning of March 3rd, 1957, Mohammed Sharif Malay, 12, discovered a dagger in the entrance of the hallway of the family home. Oh my God. Jean-Marie Le Pen's dagger. That's crazy. That's wild. Her Nazi piece of shit father was in my country in Algeria during the colonialization, kicking grandmas. Yeah. Also, the other irony of like that Times of Israel article that you just pointed to, the other side of this equation is that the current fascist government of Israel was looking at the far right momentum in Europe with very positive attitudes. They literally openly, in this last iteration, in this last round of elections that have taken place, were welcoming the far right momentum in Europe. Time and time again, people from the current existing Knesset, like members of the Knesset, were with regular frequency mentioning how dope it is that there are literal fucking anti-Semitic fascists that are coming into positions of prominence in Europe. Okay? So that's another thing to remember. They were encouraging Jews in France to vote for the fascists, the demon you know. Yeah. Anyway, stop calling everyone Nazis when you're trivializing the Nazis. This person, there's no way this person could be one. Yeah, I'm just, look at me, little old me again, dude. Just calling everybody a Nazi, like literally. You know, how could I come up with such a ridiculous assertion all on my own here? What the fuck? That's crazy. What do you mean? Israeli officials are saying it's dope. Hassan. All right, let's
margins that Chirac saw in 2002, winning just 66% in 2017 and just 56% in 2022. Perhaps more tellingly, in the 2022 parliamentary elections, Macron's centrist coalition refused to back the left-wing candidates from the NUPES coalition, which was led by Jean-Luc Mélenchon's France Unbound party. There were less runoffs in 2022, so the lack of goodwill between Macron and Mélenchon was less electorally significant. But it still helped the National Rally massively outperform polls in the second round, winning a record 89 seats. Anyway, this is why when the first round results were announced, it wasn't clear whether the cordon sanitaire would materialize. While Jean-Luc Mélenchon quickly came out and said that the NFP would pull out of any triangulaire where they were third placed, vowing not a single vote for the National Rally, Macron and his allies were a bit more equivocal. Prime Minister Gabriel Attal encouraged tactical voting in order to prevent the National Rally from having an absolute majority in the second round. But Macron himself only called for voters to rally behind candidates who are, quote, clearly Republican and Democratic, i.e. not candidates from France Unbowed. And Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire said that France Unbowed are as dangerous as the National Rally. However, in the end, it seems like the Republican front actually emerged stronger than expected. By Tuesday night, the deadline for candidate withdrawal, 100...
Yeah, they did because the left voted for them. Like, that's why, you know. Like, leftist voters voted for them.
32 left-wing candidates had stepped down for centrists, and 83 centrist candidates had stood down for the left, including at least one candidate who stood down despite Macron personally telling them.
Look. There it is. Here it is. Prominent French Jews decry far left's election gains amid fears of new anti-Semitism. French rabbi advises young French Jews to move to Israel because of the mainstream discrimination. Dude, this system of like only caring about Israel's existence and tying Zionism to Judaism like this is so unimaginably bad. I have been openly talking about this for years at this point, and obviously I have talked about it quite more recently, like a lot more recently. This is genuinely going to make people significantly more anti-Semitic. I don't know like how I can shake some sense into some of these motherfuckers. It is so incredibly fucking dangerous. French rabbi advises young French Jews to move to Israel because of mainstream discrimination. Journalist says NPF victory sends message of impunity to anti-Jewish Islamo-fascists. Anti-Jewish Islamo-fascists. Protesters hold banners reading "Women and Jewish double penalty" during a demonstration called by associations including SOS Racisme and Women's Foundation to denounce anti-Semitism in Paris en June after the alleged anti-Semitic gang rape of a 12-year-old in Paris suburb of Courbevoie? What the fuck? Alleged anti-Semitic gang rape of a 12-year-old? What the fuck? That's crazy. The fear-mongering among French Jews serves the agenda of the Israeli state? Yes, I know. Why are we reading Times of Israel, lol? Because it's like insane. Islamic fascist is a word. Technically, Islamo-fascist is just gibberish. There was a pro-Israel deputy called Mayor Habib that lost his seat in the assembly yesterday. As I have said before, the gang rape bit is a lie, by the way. It was Christians. What? Christians and Jews responsible for the crime? What do you mean? That was real. A bunch of anti-Semites raped a 12-year-old Jewish girl? I don't know about this story. Like, I don't know what happened. Obviously, regardless of the motivations of the fucking criminals that did this heinous act, assuming that like every Muslim is doing this is psychopathic and also identical to the way white supremacists operated in the United States of America. For all of my American watchers, this is a story that you are very familiar with, okay? Oh, this black person raped a white woman. All black people are responsible. Let's go kill some black people. That's usually how it works. That is the through line here. The notion that like the extremely violent acts of one singular person or a group of individuals does not reflect on the entirety of a population. You have to be the most racist person on the fucking planet to assume that, to make that assertion. French media spun it on the assumption that it was Muslims responsible, but it came out the people responsible were also children of Jewish and Christian descent. Oh, the kids who did that were white, so they stopped talking about it? Oh, they were French who did the rape, not Muslims. They show their faces. Reported rape of Jewish girl linked to rising anti-Semitism in France. French authorities indicted two 13-year-old boys on charges of aggravated rape, making religious insults and death threats, and recording or sharing images of a sexual nature, among other crimes. Prosecutors said Wednesday a third boy, age 12, was charged with being an assistant witness to rape, as well as making religious insults and death threats. According to prosecutors, the girl said in a police interview that she had known one of the boys before the attack. In police interviews, all three of the boys expressed regret towards the girl without addressing their alleged involvement. That's so fucking sad, dude. Activists called for a mass demonstration against anti-Semitism on Paris on Friday. French media reported more than 1,000 people attended the rally at Paris City Hall. The French far right has been itself historically linked to anti-Semitism. National Front Party founder Jean-Marie Le Pen was repeatedly fined for diminishing the Nazi gas chambers, a mere detail in the history of World War II. But his daughter Marine Le Pen has rebranded the party, moderating its tone and expanding its appeal. No, she didn't. This is also whitewashing Marine Le Pen, for the record. But this article does not mention that these are like Islamo-fascists doing this, or that it's like Muslim migrants doing this or some shit. Even though this article on Times of Israel makes it seem like that is the case, tying it to Islamofascism immediately after talking about the gruesome, heinous anti-Semitic rape of a 12-year-old girl. The French go to Algeria and say, this is ours, and this is literally a part of France now. You're all French. Please take one beret and one baguette. The French Muslims move to Paris because they are French, and France is like racism to 100. In France, Islamo-gauchist is kind of the equivalent of woke, even if woke have spread too. So both are used by the term right and far right to insult anyone not Islamophobic for them. Islamofascist is just a more dumb and unhinged version of it. Yeah, many such cases. Diaspora Minister Amihai Chikli in a photo op with one of the RN leader Marine Le Pen from about a week ago. He took a gamble and lost. The poor guy is now using his timeline to post about far-left activists and Muslims supposedly rioting. It's so, dude, get fucking fucked, okay? Get absolutely fucked. Get cumstered, you fucking pieces of shit. You anti-Semitic dogs, you, okay? Oh my God. Bro, what the fuck is Islamofascism? I love covering European politics for a little bit because, like, Americans are in awe of the new and unique ways in which like Europeans are racist. Like, obviously Islamophobia is fairly normalized in the United States of America, and then you like hear about the new ways in which like the average Swedish person, for example, feels about like Muslims, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, I am French. The far right uses murders committed by foreigners to feed their hatred, like that of Lola, whose family refused political recovery. A Frenchman criticizing a Muslim for rioting can't be more ironic. Islamo-gauchiste is the equivalent of the Judeo-Bolshevism of the 1930s when Jews were the enemies of the far right. And there was a Front Populaire in France back then too. Yeah. It has become like Muslims have been substituted for the all-powerful entity that is like also simultaneously like a roving gang of barbarian rapist monsters who are also simultaneously like the strongest force corrupting all of the institutions of higher learning and the media by, you know, telling people not to be ruthlessly racist towards them. Yeah. And you see that in pretty much every fucking European country.
Not to. This meant that there are only a handful of triangulaires left between the National Rally, Ensemble, and the NFP. Now, most people thought that this Republican front was never going to be as effective as it has been in the past, let alone totally effective. In other words, there was no way that 100% of first-round NFP voters were going to vote for Ensemble in the second round instead. Nor was there any chance that 100% of first-round Ensemble voters would lend their votes to NFP. This is because some of the more right-leaning Ensemble voters actually prefer the National Rally to the NFP, and some more anti-establishment NFP voters actually prefer the National Rally to Ensemble. However, in the end, it looks like
that is a wild thing to fucking say. That's a wild thing to say when you have like actual voter patterns. Like they made this video 10 hours ago. It's not like they don't know what the voter patterns look like. That's just completely untrue. I mean, every type of voter exists, I know, but like bringing that up as though it's an important fucking point is so stupid because it's like the Bernie Trump voters. Exactly. It's dumb because the Bernie Trump voters, the Bernie to Donald Trump voters were so marginal and so insignificant. And this is something that we have relitigated 1,000 times over since 2016. A much larger percentage of Hillary Clinton voters in the primaries voted for John McCain in the election between Barack Obama and John McCain. Then Bernie voters voted for Donald Trump. A much larger percentage of Hillary Clinton voters voted against Barack Obama and voted for John McCain than Bernie Sanders Bernie Sanders voters voted for Donald Trump as opposed to Hillary Clinton. So the idea that like this is a prescient point, an important point to fucking bring up is so stupid. Okay? The difference is 4 times, about like 5% in NFP and 20% for Ensemble who switched to RN. Who do you think is more likely to vote for the far right party? The right-wing constituency, okay? Or the fucking far left in their terms, the far left constituency. Who do you think is more likely to vote for the far right? And Mélenchon, as they brought up already, said not a single vote to RN from the jump. From the jump. Anyway, 75% of leftists went to vote for centrist right-wing candidates when it was necessary. Only 50% of Macronists did.
The Republican front worked remarkably well, and the National Rally ended up coming well short of a majority, which is clearly what Le Pen was hoping for after the first round. In fact, not only did the National Rally fall short of a majority, they actually lost to both the NFP and Macron's alliance. With the votes counted, the NFP are on 182 seats, Macron's alliance are on 168, and the National Rally on just 143. Of the remaining 84 seats, 45 went to the centre-right Republicans, and the remaining 39 went to smaller parties or independent candidates, including France's first ever Basque nationalist.
It's always weird seeing the right labeled blue and the left labeled red. That's not weird. That is just like how it is in the broader majority of Western Europe and Europe in general. For the rest of the world, red is a sign of communism. Red means, that's why in America even they say like, oh, better dead than red. That's very normal. America, we do things differently. The Red Scare, like even during the Cold War, we had an understanding that like red meant revolution, red meant communism, red meant socialism.
Deputy to complement the political resurgence of the Basque Nationalist Party in Spain. Turnout was also extraordinarily high, coming in at nearly 60% as of 5 p.m., the highest since 1981. Regardless, this result didn't go down too well with the National Rally. Their would-be Prime Minister described the result as a stitch-up, And French Twitter has been full of clips of National Rally supporters reacting to the exit poll. Now, at first glance, this looks like a massive win for Macron. His basic thesis that people vote for the National Rally as a protest vote, but don't actually want them in power, has apparently been proven correct. And not only that, but his alliance have also massively outperformed expectations. However, they still lost nearly 100 seats, and Macron now has the extraordinarily difficult job of building a majority coalition.
Oh, poor guy, dude. Poor guy. He should step aside.
Which will require multiple parties from across the political spectrum. If this coalition fails, Macron will be blamed for the ensuing instability, and the National Rally will be able to present.
Who the fuck told me to watch the TLDR news article? Like there were at least like 50 chatters in here that were like, you have to watch this coverage. It's so brilliant. Okay. I'm sorry. This is like not exactly great. And this is not my strong suit. Like I will say I'm way more confident in my understanding of like British politics than I am of like French politics. But god damn, dude, this shit is like, this is kind of ass overall.
Present themselves as the only real opposition going into presidential elections. If you want to learn more about the French and European elections, then we have articles discussing both topics in Too Long, our 60-page high-quality magazine.
Okay, you know, it's just like, we could have spent time literally doing French hogwatch, okay? We could have spent better time. You could have had a better use of time subscribing so that at the top of the hour when the 3-minute ad break comes, you don't miss a fucking beat, okay? How do you say hog in French? Like pig. Because that's what we're going to be moving on to right now. French hogwatch. Okay? Oh, cochon. How would you say hogwatch? Belk. Cochon. The oink watch. Oui, oui. There will most likely be a cohabitation between the NFP and Macron's coalition, with the NFP not being allowed to pass anything that would be greenlit by Macron himself. He will also reverse the option to vote along with the RN to be certain to vote censure the NFP MP. Montre de porc. On va voir des cochons. Montre des porcs. Visons des porcs. Oui, oui. Porc montre. Bring it on. We will watch les porcs, les cochons. Safari. Safari des cochons. Safari des cochons. It begins now. After le 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. Oui, oui. Cochon.
Matt, the Fifth Republic is in uncharted territories here. As you said, it looks like National Rally won't be able to achieve that majority. So what might a French government look like in the weeks to come? There are some options. President Macron, for example, could sound out other parties about the possibility of a confidence and supply type arrangement. There's even a world in which some sort of technocratic prime minister could be appointed over a national unity government. The problem with that is that National Rally will call foul, of course, is that if that happens, because it would all be designed to block them from power. They will frame it in terms of democracy shortchanged. The one thing we know for certain is that this far-right party, now the biggest party in Parliament here, is continuing to completely redefine French politics. National Rally's breakthrough moment has been decades in the making. The old fascist party of Jean-Marie Le Pen reinvented by his daughter, reinvigorated by her TikTok protege Jordan Bardella.
Fuck that handsome piece of shit.
We spent time on the ground with their candidates, trying to understand why the message resonates. If National Rally were in power, would this man have been allowed into France? Ask the question, is this a party born again, or just back from the dead? Mr. Bardella, British television here. Who are you really and what do you stand for, sir? Julien Lemongy is 28, same as Bardella. The similarities don't end there. Immigrant background, polished, definitely on message, possibly in power. The far-right party has gone to its youth wing to field an army of mini Bardellas, part of the criteria, who looks good in their first suit. He's standing in a commuter belt constituency in Seine-et-Marne, east of Paris. A couple of big...
Dude, France is so fucking cooked with the Olympics, by the way. Like, that's a totally separate point. They are so goddamn cooked. They have no idea what's coming for them. And it's not even like, there's obviously like the fears of terrorism as well on top of everything else. That's like a big deal right now in France. There's been a lot of like potentially Russian involvement in the country, but you know, they're too busy worried about Muslims. But overall, dude, I do not think that they are ready. I do not think that they are fucking ready for the Olympics. Okay?
Towns, but mainly villages like Roubaix.
They want to fight for France.
Well, yeah, I wasn't talking about LeBron. I wasn't talking about Team USA, okay? I was not talking about, when I said they're not ready for it, they're not ready for the terrorism. I didn't mean like on the courts, okay?
So that's the idea for me. I want to fight for France. And when you want to fight for France, you want like a better life for people. You want less taxes. You want less immigrations because nobody voted here, you know, to get like hundreds of thousands of migrants every year.
It's hard to see how a place like this is adversely affected by immigration because I can't see any immigrants here.
Because it's a Tuesday morning, you know, it doesn't mean you have like immigrations everywhere on the street.
But when the immigrants come out then?
Like, I'm not saying that immigrants are like everywhere on the street. I'm just saying like people are affected by immigration, not only because there's immigration to the village, because they see what it provokes in France, like some insecurity, like some problems in the transport. We just say that the systems like this is not working.
The left-wing candidate here tactically withdrew, part of a nationwide plan to block the far right. It means Limongé is in a two-way fight with the incumbent MP for Les Républicains. Think Conservatives.
Ah, vous êtes partout?
Ben oui.
Is this the opposition?
Yes.
Oui, tout à fait.
Okay. The traditional right in France is in free fall, and there's another factor. People think they've tried everything else, so why not National Rally?
Come on, just give it a shot. Give fascism a shot. Historically, it's, historically that hasn't yielded like really bad results. Not that long ago, by the way. Just try it out. Just fucking try it out. Come on. A little nudge. Come on, guys.
Educated, ambitious would-be politician, National Rally's dominance now also means opportunity. 20 years ago, if you had been running here, would you have been running for Le Républicain?
Maybe 20 years ago it would have been different because
I think French politicians of the Nationalist Party saying, what's the harm in giving nationalism a try? We have never done it before, is akin to literal Holocaust revisionism, by the way. Okay? It should be treated as such. Because when you say that, and you're a part of the Nationalist Party, and you're saying, oh, we've never given it a try, okay? You're literally doing Holocaust revisionism. You are. You have given it a try, and it fucking yielded what we are talking about. It's an abject lie to claim that, like, there wasn't an attempt.
I agree with Madame that National Rally was very different, but now it changed.
If you're a young, politically ambitious person, is National Rally the party that you would gravitate towards now? Do you know what I mean?
I guess so, but you know, I commit in politics not because I'm just ambitious, because I want to fight for France.
We move on to the next village, and as we do, news breaks that a National Rally candidate in Normandy has stood down after a picture emerged of her wearing Nazi memorabilia.
Oh, dude, bummer. How did that... Wait, how did that... Shit, dude, how did that happen? What? That's crazy. I'm so shocked. I'm shocked, I tell you. Shocking revelation.
Have you seen this, wearing a Luftwaffe hat?
Yeah, I saw that. We cannot accept that. It's a shame. And I heard that she...
Why is that a shame? Like, dude, nationalism is in the name. The thing I don't understand is that, like, the party has nationalism in the name. Okay? What is a shame is that it got leaked, I guess. It's not a shame to wear the hat. It's a shame that it got leaked and it became a big political problem. I thought it was going to say it looks good on her.
It was dismissed.
Why do you think she did that?
I don't know. I don't have any context of this thing. I just show the pictures, but...
If you're a young person like you and you know there's that history, why do you still decide to join?
I think young people are smart enough when they get a membership, they meeting the others, they meeting like the political leaders. It's not what they see. I think nobody has to be worried about it. It doesn't reflect what we are, you know.
Oh,
Immigration is at the heart of the National Rally proposition, of course. For Julien, globalisation has eroded a vision of what it means to be French. Says his party wants to restore a sense of unified national community.
We are like an individual society. People don't trust anymore in the politics, so they don't live together anymore. So we have to create togetherness.
But who gets to be part of that community?
Bonjour, madame.
At our next stop, the diverse town of Nangy, that's the question that comes into sharp focus.
Moi, je suis de l'Algérie.
Algérien.
Algérie. Mais en fait, ceux qui sont déjà sur place, qui sont en situation régulière, qui travaillent, qui, voilà, qui payent leurs impôts, ils n'ont rien à craindre normalement.
Bien sûr, on n'a jamais dit qu'on allait virer les personnes qui étaient sur le terrain.
Cette fois.
But hang on, I know we're all being friends here and everything, and you're being the politician, so I get it. But if National Rally were in power, would this man have been allowed into France?
So this man is working in France, so he's on the territory, he's legally on the territory, so there is no problem, you know. We are against people arriving illegally on the territory, not working, so we think...
So just to be clear, Julian, you want this man to stay in France, yeah? You want this man to stay in France, yeah?
Dude, Channel 4 so consistently... Channel 4 is carrying the torch for British journalism, I swear to God. What a fucking... this is an incredible piece of journalism to just literally straight up be like, look at this person and tell me right now you want him to be in this country is an insane thing to do. God damn, dude. He's like, that's crazy. That's awesome. It's funny because he's having such a hard time being like, of course, I love him. I love him being on French soil. Like, he can't even fucking say that. He's like, oh, well, he's a freedom of movement on the French soil, and you know, is okay. Like, I think it's fine. It's like, well, yeah, this moment was really funny too. Hold on.
Yeah.
So we think.
So just to be clear, Julian,
you want this long live immigration? Look at his fucking face. Look.
This man to stay in France. Yeah. You want this man to stay.
He says, "Vive la immigration!" He's like, ugh. He's like a vampire. A vampire getting hit with sunlight, okay?
In France, yeah?
Il me demande si je veux que vous restiez en France. Je lui réponds oui. Vous travaillez, vous êtes sur le territoire.
Yeah, you do, yeah?
Yeah, I do.
Much of the party's past rhetoric, though, doesn't square with this. And that mismatch has people in this town confused about exactly what National Rally in power would actually mean for them. The fear, as the sign reads,
it's so funny to watch. It's so funny to watch him squirm. Oh, that's awesome.
One train coming might hide another.
Paul O'Brien outside Paris. And if you need it, you can access a dubbed version of that report on our website shortly. Well, earlier I spoke to Daniel Obono, who's a Gabonese French.
Oh, yeah. Macron is also a massive Islamophobe himself. He has like geared up. Friend of the show, Hugo Decrypt, literally interviewed Macron. And in that interview, he proposed unimaginable. He had already proposed unimaginable shit. Like he wanted to ban not just like the hijab, but also what was it? There was another thing like something that is not even like relevant to Islam at all. The abaya. Yeah, exactly. Like he banned the abaya, and it's like he was asking him like, why do you want to? I mean, it is still it's not just the abaya. There was another thing. Hold on. Like Arabic clothing in general. He was like, why do you want to ban the abaya? Like that's just traditional clothing. Like what the fuck? It is not even just like about Islam. It's just a dress. This, by the way, is an abaya for those of you who don't know. Like it's not no. The turban ban. The turban ban is one thing, right? The hijab ban and the hijab ban is already completely unacceptable, right? But he banned the abaya, okay? Which is just like a type of dress. Like what the fuck are we doing? And he banned it, and Hugo Decrypt in his conversation was like, "Why are you banning the abaya? That's not even like Muslim garb, okay? It's just a type of dress that, you know, people from the MENA region wear. And he basically was like, no, we have to ban it too because Arabs wear it. He is incredibly fucking racist as well.
Politician from the far left France Unbowed party. I began by asking if she was surprised about the positive reaction to this young National Rally candidate that we just saw.
Well, I think overall the reaction I sensed and I knew from people around me was that people were stunned and afraid when we learned about how big their votes were nationally. But at the same time, I know that there's a lot of anger in this country against...
Yeah, oh yeah, he said for security reasons. Thank you. That was what I was looking for. He banned the abaya, which is not even like, which has nothing to do with Islam in general, because he banned it for security reasons. Unimaginable racism.
Macron, against his politics. And I think some of the people used this vote to say that.
But why would young voters, French voters of African or North African origin, even contemplate voting for the Rassemblement National, for the RN?
I would say it's not the majority of the voters.
Sure.
And some may actually believe in what they are supposedly standing for when they pretend to stand with the poor people, to stand with the workers. And I think we had for years now, decades, they've been building their little family business, as I call it, and their discourse has been...
Abaya is definitely Islamic. Abaya is Islamic. Abaya is definitely Islamic. You are associating everything from the MENA region with Islam. Okay? What the fuck are you talking about? No, it's not. You're wrong. It kind of is. Muslims own that shit. No, it's ridiculous. Even if it was, that's besides the point. That's like still silly. But it's like, yeah, no, we need to ban hummus. It's Islamic. We need to ban algebra. It's Islamic. The number 0. The fuck? It's not religious garb, dumbass. Muslims wear it, but it's not like religious garb. MENA is Middle East and North Africa.
Normalized, and that's, I think, part of their appeal now, because people think, oh, it's okay, whatever they say about migrants. Everybody's saying that, but there are still roots, historical roots, and also ideological roots with the party founded by Jean-Marie Le Pen. The ugly truth is that they're still a far right, and at their core.
Yeah, also, yeah, this also opens up the funny possibility once again of like, oh, turbans across the border are Islamic, which is why when I see a brown person wearing a turban, I immediately go, you're Muslim, and that needs to be banned immediately. Meanwhile, the dude is fucking Sikh, okay?
Or racist party.
But if they get into power, if they manage to form even a minority government next week, what's the reaction going to be from your party and the reaction of people on the streets of France?
Well, for now, we don't believe that's going to happen, because we are very focused on fighting against the far right and making sure that our candidates, we have over 300 candidates on the ballot, get elected. What we want to do is defeat the fascists.
I mean, are they really fascists? You know, the Rassemblement National, they may be far right, but are they fascists?
I do think that's their historical
but are they fascists
political...
today? You know, Jean-Marie Le Pen, you know, started the party.
I do think.
You know, with the former Nazi Waffen-SS officer. But the party's moved on since then, hasn't it? That's what they would say, and that's what many voters believe.
Yeah, I think when you look at what they've been, I mean, I've been elected in 2017.
I love her face when the guy goes, but do you think they're fascist? Are they really fascist though? She's like, yeah. Yeah, no, I do think that. Get your ass back on that place. Good girl. Don't look at me like that.
In 2022, and I've seen what they've been pushing at the National Assembly. They've been pushing the most neoliberal, antisocial policies, targeting Muslim people, targeting migrant people. Their policies and what they stand for is part of this far-right history and ideological framework that can be called fascist or neo-fascist, if you want to call it like. They rebranded themselves.
But for every voter who wants to be anti-fascist, as you call it, there's another voter who's determined to be anti-communist, and by that he means your party.
I know a lot of people have this idea of what we are because they've heard in the media that we will break the economy and we will put the world upside down. What we're saying that, first of all, the situation, the economic situation and the social situation we are in is the result of 7 years of neoliberal policy. The chaos is already there, the crisis is already there, and it's due to the neoliberal policies that have been implemented.
Janina Bonner, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
That was great. Okay. Let's get to the chaos and confusion. Here, I'll just mention this. Barry Weiss, who killed Refat al-Rara by putting an assassination target on him in an active genocide zone, is crying hysterically because her favorite far-right Zionist fascist Le Pen was defeated. All the genocidal Zionists are out in the open now, admitting their fascism proudly. Caught between one monster and another, many French Jews chose the party willing to stand up against radical Islam. They lost. Moshe Sebag, a rabbi for the synagogue de la Victoire, tells the Times of Israel that it seems France has no future for Jews. He advises young French Jews to leave Israel. This is such a funny thing that like Zionist rabbis are doing, where they're like, hey guys, it's really scary out there. They're saying Israel's doing bad things, so you should go to Israel. Meanwhile, what is the Israeli government doing? Trying to fucking open up a two-front war in Lebanon while also conducting a genocide in Gaza. Like, do you think that it is safer right now to, if you are a Jewish person, do you think it is safer right now to live in the Western world where you are thousands of miles away from Israel, which is the most insane country on the planet currently as it stands, actively doing both a genocide and also trying to open up a new front with a significantly more powerful military in its north? Okay? Like, what do you think is better? Like getting drafted to the IDF? What are we thinking, guys? What do you think is a safer place for Jewish people? They literally are just like genuinely trying to they're trying to bring in a fresh round of conscripts. Oh my God. Israel expects far-right gains in European Parliament will improve its standing. Israeli minister praises France's far-right party president, breaking Israel's official boycott of national rally. Anyway, so let's move on from the Buck Watch to American news. Okay. And the chaos and confusion happening in the United States of America.
Return now to the
pressure mounts on Biden after ABC News interview. But beyond that, there was a lot going on. There was a press conference that took place already earlier. We got Morning Joe, which Joe Brandon tuned into, his favorite show, and kind of flubbed that goddamn interview too. The Democrats are back in D.C. Congress is back in session. And of course, now they're not just talking over Zoom calls. They're talking and maybe even whispering inside of the hallowed halls of Congress. This is a dangerous prospect for Joe Brandon, who wants to maintain his grip of power. Let's take a look at what's going on in the United States of America.
The race for the White House and President Biden struggling to save his candidacy over the weekend as senior Democratic lawmakers start calling for the president to step aside. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has the story. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, the Biden campaign had hoped that the president's big interview with you would quiet concerns from the party. But this morning, the number of Democrats calling for the president to exit this race is growing. Even some of his allies are making it clear there are still questions he needs to answer this week, warning the clock is ticking. This morning, President Biden, defiant as ever, adamant he can survive this crisis. But a growing number in his own party aren't so certain. Sources tell ABC News that
it's so funny because, like, look, Democrats are fucking cowards across the board. So, like, obviously, even a limited number of Democratic, like, even when you hear like a little bit of chirping from this otherwise feckless institutionalist Democratic Party, you have to make the assertion that behind closed doors, it is a fucking 5 o'clock panic. Okay, just pure and utter chaos happening behind the scenes. That, like, when you have high-ranking Democratic Party officials, senior Democratic Party members like fucking Jerry Nadler, okay, coming out and being like, you cannot continue. What the fuck is going on? 5 o'clock alarm, 5 alarm fire, not a 5 o'clock fire. I'm ESL. Shut the fuck up. My point is, if you hear someone like Adam Schiff come out on Sunday broadcast and say, maybe it's time to step aside, if that is what you think is best, know that what they are saying behind closed doors are so much worse, okay? So much worse. You need to understand that. These guys are not exactly known to make bold claims or fuck up the bag. They are not known as like disruptive people, okay? Especially when there is an election coming up.
Privately, at least 4 top House Democrats told colleagues on a call Sunday it's time for Biden to end his campaign.
So I don't see the solution here, because if he drops out, it's near guaranteed Trump wins. Why? Why is that it's near guaranteed Trump wins if he drops out? Every single person that is committed to voting for Joe Biden right now is going to vote for whoever the fuck is the Democratic Party candidate. The idea that like there are Brandon or busters in the Democratic Party is the most laughable notion I have ever even encountered in American politics over the course of the past 10 years of my professional political commentary career. Not a single person is like, I'm a Brandon or buster. I'm busting. I'm not fucking voting if it's not Joe Brandon. Okay? The only reason why there are even holdouts that are saying, no, Joe, keep going, Joe, is because they are that committed to the Democratic Party. These are the vote blue no matter who constituents. It is only you will only end up, as long as you do not, as long as this tumultuous period is chaos, and this tumultuous period is kept to a minimum, okay? And they very quickly and swiftly deal with this transition. It's not even a fucking question. They are only going to gain more votes as a consequence of this, not lose votes. Okay? That is ridiculous. The moment that Biden drops out, every single person writing for him right now will immediately pivot. It will instantly end. No one will care that Biden got pushed out. Exactly. You think Harry Sasson or David Pacman or any number of like currently, currently defenders of current like ardent supporters of Joe Biden are not going to turn around and immediately support who the fuck is going to be put in his place? Are you crazy? Are you fucking crazy? The only reason why they're defending Biden so vociferously is because they personally think he's the best candidate the Democratic Party has put forward, because that's what the Democratic Party signaled originally. It is that simple. Ridiculous. Ridiculous to make any sort of assertion otherwise. Yeah, Brian Tyler Cohen. You think Brian Tyler Cohen's like, oh, no, I'm sorry, guys. I cannot in good conscience, like, vote for anyone that's not Biden? That'd be pretty funny. Do you know a single person? Do you know a single fucking person that is a Brandon or buster? Like, a single one.
Congressman Jerry Nadler, Mark Takano, Joe Morell, and Adam Smith, joining 5 other Democrats who've made the same plea publicly. But
this is massive, by the way. Like, that right there is fucking massive. The Democrats do not ever rock the boat like this, okay?
Sources say Minority Leader Hakeem.
Yeah, like Hutch, for example, yeah. Hutch is going to be like, oh, dude, Joe Biden is like, Kamala Harris is put in place of Joe Biden. Sorry, I can't vote for Kamala Harris. What are you, crazy? Like, I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm thinking of like all the people who are like unconditional dick riders of the Democratic Party, like Harry Sasson or whatever. Like, you think they're going to fucking be like, yeah, this new guy or gal, not it for me. No, the only person that could replace Biden that would maybe lose some votes but gain more in the long run would be Hillary Clinton. Okay? Like, I don't even think personally that, regardless of the fucking charisma black hole that Kamala Harris is, I don't think that there's enough like anti-Kamala sentiment out there for people to be like, yeah, I can't vote for her. Like, maybe the fact that she's a woman or the fact that she's black, that could play a role in like maybe losing some votes overall. But I don't think that these people who are chalk committed right now to the Biden regime are going to turn around and be like, no. Every single person, you have only more votes to gain in this process. As long as it's not like a massive shakeup and it spells chaos and confusion and division in the party. As long as this is neatly and tightly wrapped up and swiftly dealt with, this transition is swiftly dealt with, it is ridiculous. The Democratic Party's platform is seen as broadly popular, significantly more popular than the Republican Party's platform. What are you basing this shit on? Literally lying, bullshit, yes. Have you talked about the hospital in Kyiv yet or the ongoing genocide in Ukraine? Are you joking? What are you basing any of this shit on? What do you mean? What do you mean? What am I basing this shit on? Is this the Brandon or Buster? The single issue voter, which is Ukraine? Is that what it is? Polls, man. Polls. Every single person that is currently committed to Joseph Robinette Brandon is committed to the Democratic Party. Their vote blue no matter whoers, okay? Why am I saying this? Because Biden's popularity is historically low. And the only people that defend Biden when his popularity is historically low are going to be people that are committed to the party platform. If you are personally asking, like, why am I saying that the Democratic Party is like broadly popular or at least significantly more popular than fucking the Republican Party, there's a thing that undermined, I don't know if you know this, maybe, you know, you were unfamiliar with what was going on in American politics or something, but there was a decision that came down from the Supreme Court that was directly in the hands of the Republican Party. The Republican Party was responsible for it, which undermined the medical freedom and the bodily autonomy of 50% of the fucking population, especially ones living in the fucking red states. That was pretty bad for the Republican Party, okay? That in and of itself automatically put Democrats in a winning position. Even in the midst of negative real wage growth, people overwhelmingly did not give the Republican Party a major victory in the 2022 midterm election. Are we really trusting polls, though? They were wrong for like 6 cycles. Why are we talking about polls? First of all, there is no other way to fucking do commentary in this time. And secondly, you're wrong. Polls were not wrong for the last 6 cycles. They are not wrong. You just don't know how to read the fucking polls. What is this? What is this attitude? Oh, you can't look at the fucking polls. What are we supposed to look at then? Like your own personal vibes?
Damn, this guy's good.